Okay, for those of you who don't know what an Ozark mountain looks like, we're on a mountainside road right now. This is purple granite. I'm at a spot called Klepzig Mill. It's on Rocky Creek, about 2 miles before it dumps into Current River. Leaves are just coming out on the trees, making it a little bit tough to see what you're seeing. But this roof down here is the mill itself. Should be able to hear the waterfalls of the shut-ins that they had dammed up at one time to run this mill. I get down here, I'll give you a closer look at the mill and the shut-ins and the waterfalls. There's one of the waterfalls. That is perhaps the biggest waterfall. Looks like it's changed a little bit since the last time I was here. More waterfalls, more waterfalls. And then the creek going on downstream. Now where I'm standing to show you this aerial view is actually inside the trough that fed the mill at one time. And that's where the water dropped into the turbine system. Of course, as you can tell, the trough has partially collapsed underneath the mill itself. Here's some information on the mill. If you want to read this, just pause the video. Here's the mill. It's a very small building. Of course, this is all National Park Service ground now. I don't know what all equipment used to be laid out and where. I know this has been remodeled at least twice. This might have been a corn crib or something at one time. It's got a bunch of sticks in it. It almost looks like a beaver's nest in here. And over here we have the top of the old turbine system, which has been blocked off. And that used to be open down in there. I know 5 years ago it was still open. Look out from the mill down to the water. Now look from the mill down the stream. There's a big rock down there, and that is an excellent place to fish. Caught a lot of big bluegill and a few decent sized bass down there. This is their spring house. This has been remodeled a couple of times too. But this is the spring, and you can see it's got a little flow of water going through here. Now typically they would draw their drinking water out of the spring, and they would use these other little troughs to store stuff like dairy products in containers, or meat from a deer, a cow, a hog, whatever they had butchered. But you want all that stuff to be downstream from where you drink. And if you notice, in the exit where the sunlight hits, that is watercress. Watercress is highly delicious. It tastes a lot like a turnip green, but a little bit more spicy. It's good with salads. I want to see if I can get across the creek today. The water's running a little high, so I may not be able to hop these little waterfalls. We're going to see. Of course, this little shut-in is formed over granite, and anywhere where there's water on granite, it is slick. You don't want to step on a wet rock, it'll break you. Just ask Sadie about that. There's the mill, and here's one of the upper waterfalls. This would be the easiest place to cross, but I don't think I ought to try to hop that today. You see some of the concrete from their original dam going straight across. You can see a little bit of it on that rock right there. And I believe they've had a rock collapse over there that wiped out that part of it on the far side. This is a good place for bass fishing, bluegill. It's a good place to swim as long as you don't end up going over a waterfall. Big waterfalls over there, and I can't get there today. This little waterfall here, when I was a kid, you could use it like a water slide, a natural water slide. And that boulder right there is about 7 or 8 feet from one side to the other. It's huge, it's heavy. Used to be located right there. We had a flash flood with the water strong enough to move that big old thing over these rocks and settle it right there where it is. I used to fish underneath it. That was the best place in the hole to fish, was underneath that rock. Not anymore. Okay, this is the gate that they would open to run water to the mill in the dam. Of course, the dam wall is mostly gone now. Now this rock they butted it up against here has helped keep this from washing away and crumbling. But it formed a pool, and you can see where the remnants are of the wall that they used to get it toward the trough. You can see it in through here. Looks like a straight line here. And then it got up in there, curved around, and into the trough to the mill. Okay, Klepzig Mill was accompanied by a little community of Klepzig. And I'm not sure what all of these foundations are. This is probably the most expensive to build in its day that I found out here. Had a big porch on it. This could have been a store. This could have been a schoolhouse and church. It's hard to say. And it could have just been a fancy house. This could have been a wealthy man that started the whole operation. You can tell where the doorway was. Of course, this is straight, and this is cut into, so this is where they would have walked in. This old fireplace back here, you can tell where the floor level was back in here. It was built on this right in here. Now that's had a bunch of stuff piled in it, so more than likely maybe there was a cistern here. Other than the mill and the spring house, this is the only building that still stands of the community. Not sure if this was a smokehouse or what it was in its day. But it had a pretty good sized basement underneath it at one time. I've not crawled underneath it. I don't know how safe it is. This might have been somebody's house. Might have been a barn. A little big for a chicken house. There's another view underneath it. There's steps right there. So apparently they had a false panel. I'm going to turn my light on and see if I can see in there. Here's the steps going down in there. I'm just hanging inside the hole right now looking around. Not a whole lot of room, so this would have been a cellar, probably a root cellar for storage, maybe for a storm. This was inside the building. I've got my arm in here, so I can't really tell you what it is. I'm just kind of sticking my arm in here looking around. I guess we'll use our imaginations later to try to figure out what everything is. There won't be a commentary with it.